Hello, I'm Gabby, and today we're going to be doing a movie talk. Movie talk. So basically, today I am going to be talking about my favorite movies. Specifically, we're going to be looking at Letterboxd. I also have some written down in my First Watch notebook. If you're from America, you probably know what First Watch is. I used to work there, and the HR team was very good and would give us a bunch of free stuff. And one of them is this notebook that I use as a diary / for random shit. So I have a couple of movies down here that I wanted to talk about. And then let's go to my Letterboxd. I have to look at my computer over here because my computer needs to be connected to an outlet, and the outlet's right there, right here. So she only connects so far, you know? This is my account. My account is gabrielaferruzzi. I'll put it here if any of you guys want to follow me. To get into the nitty gritty, the reason why I'm making this video is because I very much love films. I love movies. I love any type of art. I love books. This is the book I'm reading right now. I literally love any form of art like that. Like, I love music. I love acting. I love making videos. All of the above, okay? Besides singing. I'm not good at singing. And I don't really appreciate singing. I don't know. I'm not crazy about it, but I love music, if that counts. Anyways, I'm going off topic. But so today, and no, I don't really have any credentials in film, I guess, but I am a film major. I'm film studies major, film and production. And I just figured I might as well make something that I love to talk about, because maybe it'll make a little bit of a community with people. So if you love movies, you found the right person. But yeah, let's get into it. I also would love to make a short film. I have a lot of ideas in my head. I would love to be in a movie. I would love to just be in that industry, period, because like I said, I love anything with art. I love fashion. I just love anything like that. So I was going to talk about my all-time favorites first. First, I have to give credit to Mamma Mia. Okay, I know that it is, a very, I guess, typical, musical movie. I definitely know that it's not a lot of people's cup of tea because of the music. My sister, personally doesn't really like musicals. I'm definitely not, the hugest fan of musicals, but I can appreciate a good movie. And I think Mamma Mia is, especially because I watched it when I was so young, and I have to say the second one is honestly up there with the first one. I feel like usually remakes are not as good as the first one. Mamma Mia, the original with Amanda Seyfried, Meryl Streep, is so amazing. The vibes are great. I literally went to Greece when I was 14 just because of Mamma Mia, because especially when the second one came out, when she's traveling the world, it's just so good. If you're a traveler and you love to travel, it's a great movie. I just think it's so good. It can get a little bit repetitive at times, but I personally think it's amazing. Obviously it's not super complex or anything, but I think there's some beauty in complex movies. Is that a word? Don't know. Uncomplex? Incomplex? Not complexing a not complex movie can sometimes be amazing, you know? But I will say I do have both movies rated as 5 stars on my Letterboxd. Just because I can literally rewatch them as many times as I want. The second one, I can only rewatch it until like it gets to like a certain part where it gets kind of like stagnant. Okay, all of the ones that I'm about to talk about, but like when I'm saying like my all-time favorites, are favorites that I've had listed on Letterboxd. If you don't know, you can choose 4 films to have listed as your favorite movies on Letterboxd. And for me, these are ones that I've gone like in and out of having listed. Like some of them I had listed for like 2 weeks as my favorite and then got rid of it, but I remember. Some of them I don't remember, but trying to keep good track, you know? So currently, which I will never get rid of, is Waves. Waves is quite literally my favorite movie of all time. Nothing beats it. Nothing will ever beat it, I think. I do think, very similar to what Ethan Hawke said, maybe I'll put a clip in here.
Do you think human creativity matters? Well, most people don't spend a lot of time thinking about poetry, right? They have a life to live and they're not really that concerned with Allen Ginsberg's poems or anybody's poems until their father dies. They go to a funeral, you lose a child, somebody breaks your heart, they don't love you anymore. And all of a sudden you're desperate for making sense out of this life. And has anybody ever felt this bad before? How did they come out of this cloud? Or the inverse, something great. You meet somebody and your heart explodes. You love them so much you can't even see straight. You know, you're dizzy. Did anybody feel like this before? What is happening to me? And that's when art's not a luxury, it's actually sustenance. We need it.
But I think movies or any type of art, honestly, reach someone at a very important, like reach someone when they need it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes certain art speaks to you, and for me, like certain films speak to me like in a certain point of my life that makes it so like monumental, you know what I mean? Waves is one of those for me. It reached me at a very like important part in my life where I really needed the movie, and I think that's why I love it so much. So to say that maybe it would be my favorite forever might be a bit of a reach, because who knows, maybe I'll watch something that really resonates with me, you know, in the future, and I want that to be my favorite movie of all time. But right now, I can say in this moment, I do not see another movie that could be as good as Waves to me. And let's talk about it, because I can sit and talk about Waves forever. Maybe I just need to make its own video for that, which I literally might. But we're going to sum them up in 2 minutes. Right now, I'm at 11 minutes, and we're going to be done by the 13-minute mark. So Waves, to me, is so amazing. Trey Edward Schultz directed it. I don't know if he wrote it, but it's a fantastic movie about family tragedy. And it is just so good. There is 2 different stories being told in the movie, and it is so amazing. The cinematography is great. I think a part of the reason why I love the movie so much is because one of my favorite artists, Frank Ocean, his music is played in the movie in a very creative and like, it's very important to like scenes, I think. Like the way that they play it, it's used very well. And I think that's why maybe the movie is so touching for me, because that's also when I started listening to Frank Ocean, when I first watched it. I also just think Taylor Russell's in it, and she does a fantastic job. She is so like gentle, loving. I just love the movie. It has a great ending. It's not like one of those happy ending movies. Another thing that I feel like people should know is I love sad movies. I love movies that are not like stereotypical and like, you know, go easy movies. I love movies that you leave being like, what the fuck was that? And why do I kind of love it? You know what I mean? That's how I feel about movies. I think movies should make you feel something, make you feel like a type of, you know, like you should leave feeling like thinking about it. You know what I mean? I think that Waves really did that for me. At first I was like, what's happening? And then it was just so resonating with me. Maybe I'll talk about that later, but 13 minutes have passed. So that is why, I mean, now it's at 13-minute mark. So let's end it there about that's why I love Waves so much. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but if you want a good, sad, intense movie to watch, it's Waves. So I'm going to leave that there. Next, one of my fave movies that I also have listed as my second favorite, and it's been my second favorite or on my favorites list since I got Letterboxd, is About Time. Another thing, I rewatch movies all the time. It's just like a comfort thing for me. Like if I'm sick or if I'm bored or sometimes if I'm just eating my food and I'm like, okay, I want to watch a new movie and I stumble across like Waves or About Time, I'm like, okay, it's time to rewatch it. I've rewatched both of these probably about at least 8 times. And that's not exaggerating. It could totally be more than that. And I just don't know it. But I'm just going to say for my comfort that it's only 8. But About Time. That is a rom-com. I love rom-coms. Another thing, I've watched like every rom-com in existence. I think. I know I haven't watched all of them, but most I have. About Time is by far the best. It's a perfect mix of, you know, just like romance, comedy, while also being extremely emotional. And also not having that be the only like storyline. I think a lot of rom-coms follow a specific storyline that can be kind of repetitive and boring, where it's like, you know, they fall in love, it's all very romantic, cute, and then they reach like a climax where it's like something's happened and there's a conflict, they go their separate ways and they come back together. About Time is nothing like that. It's genuinely about a love story while also having a very interesting, you know, I guess kind of like baseline of time travel. It has this like storyline of time travel while also following romance and like, you know, family tribulations and, you know, while also having like this beautiful pure love and like the background. It's just fantastic. I love it. It's sad. You'll probably cry, but it's also never like veers away from that like pure love that I think happens in a lot of people's life. I think that rom-coms can sometimes be very like, there has to be some huge drama and crazy shit that happens in order for it to be a good, you know, love story, when in reality it's not very true to real love, you know? I think that obviously there's always going to be issues and problems with love, but pure love, I think, isn't really talked about enough in movies. There always has to be some type of drama, like jealousy shit happening, and About Time doesn't do that. It's pure love, which I strive for. But yeah, that's why I love About Time so much. I think everyone will probably love it. It's a good, laughing, fun, crying movie. It's perfect all around. Ugh. Anyways, I literally need to move on. Next, Howl's Moving Castle. I love Howl's Moving Castle. It is so good. I grew up watching Studio Ghibli, so I watched like Ponyo, Kiki's Delivery Service, Spirited Away. There's definitely more that I can't think about. I mean, I love Castle in the Sky. I love Whisper of the Heart. But Howl's Moving Castle, actually, I'm going to write Whisper of the Heart down because that one's really good too. So I'll talk about that later if you want to stay tuned. So Howl's Moving Castle, I think I watched when I was like 13, 14. And I'm 18, 19 next month, by the way. So it's been in my life for a couple 5 years, you know. But House Moving Castle is just a very artistic, beautiful movie. You don't know what Studio Ghibli is. It's this, studio that creates movies. I definitely am not using the right terminology, but there's just like one guy that makes a lot of the movies, and they're all very artistic. It's animated, and it's very like heartwarming to me. I think all of the scenes, the colors they use, the music is another thing. Very good music is also like heartwarming. Like, I think if you're having a bad day, you can put on a Studio Ghibli, some movies by Studio Ghibli you can put on and have a great day. Some are sad, so definitely do your research. I'm thinking about one, but very good movies. But House Moving Castle specifically is, I think, one of those feel-good movies. It's one of those feel-good movies where I think that you can watch it and be, super into it the whole time. It keeps you engaged with a really interesting storyline, with also a love story. I think a lot of movies need love stories in order to be really interesting, honestly, from what I've found. But, yeah, so it has a really good love story. It's funny, it's cute, it's just very comforting, I think, to anyone. I think it might be comforting for me because I watched it when I was like 13 with like my sister and had a great time. But I think even for someone that maybe doesn't have like a nostalgic relationship with it, can still watch it and be like, that was a very fun, warm movie, But yeah, I mean, not the cinematography, but the drawings and the animations in it are so great. The music's great. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys know music from the movie. It's like Merry-Go-Round of Life. That's a very popular song, and that's literally from House Moving Castle. Like, yeah, okay. I definitely am not hitting the right notes. Like I said, not very good at singing. But House Moving Castle, definitely an all-time fave. Next, Call Me By Your Name. I know that maybe it's not everyone's cup of tea. Yeah, I think there's some controversial takes on it that I've heard. For me, it definitely wasn't my cup of tea the first time I watched it. No doubt that it's an amazing, beautiful, the cinematography is amazing. Timothée Chalamet looks and acts amazingly, if that's a word. I'm definitely making up words, but I am hungry. My stomach just grumbled so loud. Anyways, I'm about to go make some tuna salad. But no doubt that it is a fantastic movie. It's appealing to the eye, and it's based in northern Italy. It's a summer. I mean, that's like everyone's dream. One of the reasons why I think maybe it's not everyone's cup of tea is because it's kind of like a huge age gap relationship. It's a homosexual relationship it's a gay relationship, okay? Between this older guy and a younger guy. So I think that for some people, it may not be their cup of tea because that can be a little bit disturbing. I mean, some people are very, don't enjoy that kind of stuff, I guess, is the way to put it, which I don't, I don't know. But I personally, after rewatching it, I rewatched it earlier this year, or last year, and I was in love. Like, I watched it when I was younger, and I was just like, okay, it's good. But, as I've gotten more into film, and I watched it again after, like, doing my own research in movies and stuff, I realized how amazing it is. Also, I love traveling. I love Europe. I love anything having to do with that. So I think that maybe that's also why it's just so great to me, is because it has that European like appeal with like the Italian. It's just great. It has French, Italian. It's just the water, the blue water. Sorry, I keep on like, it's just, I just love anything like that. Like the Italy countryside with like the beautiful houses, the water, the ice cream, gelato shops, like, love. So I really like it. I think the music, I mean, Swift John Stevens, I don't know, music that's in it is fantastic. Feudal Devices, Mystery of Love. So I personally love it. I rewatched it probably about 4 times. I love it. And I'm sure a lot of other people love it as well. I also just think Timothée Chalamet's acting in it is wonderful. He does so good, and I would love to like act in a movie like that. I mean, I literally think that that's like having that, like being able to be like, oh yeah, I was in Call Me by Your Name, or oh, I made Call Me by Your Name. Such a huge flex. It pisses me off that people are able to say that. I want to say that, but anyways, moving on. Anatomy of a Fall is also a great one. I had this listed as one of my favorites for a while. Basically, Anatomy of a Fall is in French, and it's basically about like marital problems. It's basically about that. It follows this lady and her son. Her son's blind. Yeah, blind. And the husband mysteriously dies from a fall. And there you get the name from, Anatomy of a Fall. And it, follows along the problems of that. And it kind of, there's this one Letterboxd review that I love. I could definitely go find it and read it, but I feel like it's probably going to spoil something. But just to give it a little gist is that it's kind of shows you how relationships are very complex, especially marriages. And if you look at every marriage with a little microscope, you're going to see things that may be wrong, things that were miscommunicated, things that were said that aren't right. And that if you look at it on a surface level, of course, maybe they look very, troublesome and unhealthy, but there's so much more that goes into it. There's so many different phases of life. I mean, when you're marrying someone, you are mating with them for life. You're mating with them for so you're going to be going through all different phases of life together. Think about how difficult that is. I mean, it's definitely difficult, and that's the whole point of loyalty and stuff, but I really love it because it doesn't do a lot of romanticizing. It really shows you the nitty-gritty of what it's like to be in a relationship, if that makes any sense, or a marriage. So I really, really like that one. I just love how into it gets. I mean, the whole time you're trying to discover a potential murder. So it's a mystery movie with a touch of, drama, and it's so good. It's so good. I love it. But it's definitely probably not a lot of people's cup of tea. It's a really slow movie, but I love it. So next, which is actually one that came out recently that I definitely and actually one of the actresses, is her name Goldberg or something? Jessie Goldberg got an Oscar from it. And she did a great job in it, but it's Hamnet. If you guys don't know, it's based on Shakespeare. So Shakespeare's first novel, which I've read in school, was Hamlet. And it's basically telling the story of what made Shakespeare write Hamlet. So his son's name was Hamnet, and he wrote a play called Hamlet. Very interesting. There's actually a book called Hamnet, and I'm definitely going to read it, but I just have to find the right time. But basically, it's so good. It has Paul Mescal in it, Jessie Goldman. I don't know. Her name is probably one of those. But it is so good. It follows, kind of similar to Anatomy of a Fall, family tragedy, and kind of the, discovery of grief and how, you know, a family deals with it. And especially what I love, the director, I don't remember her name. I think they won an Oscar, and she like said a speech about it. And she was saying about how Hamnet shows you how important being vulnerable and, you know, how showing like a side of your life and like yourself in your art, like how important it is to do that, to like be vulnerable like that with your art, because it touches people that need it. I think it's kind of like, and I think it really like helps you put your all into it. I don't know. I think that it's so important. I don't know how to word it. I always have a problem articulating my words, but I mean, articulating my thoughts. I always have a problem articulating my thoughts. And basically, it's very important to put your vulnerable side into your art, because it adds like a splash, I think, that art needs. You know, if you're just telling a story that you have no emotional connection to, I mean, it's hard. I mean, art is so emotional, and I think that's why Hamlet was his big break, is because he put a lot of his emotions and vulnerabilities into Hamlet, and it shows you how art brings people together. Oh! I literally can go on about this all day. Like, it is so beautiful. I hope to create something that makes people feel that way and like makes people come together like that. I just love that. That's why I like Hamnet. It's always hard for me not to say Hamlet, but Hamnet, great movie. Next, which is kind of goofy, I'm a goofy guy, is Inside Out. Hear me out, okay? I know that maybe it's not everyone's cup of tea, okay? I know it's a cartoon movie. I know it's a Pixar movie. I know it came out in like 2014, but 2016 actually, I think. When I watched Inside Out when I was younger, I literally left feeling like, wow, I liked that a lot. I literally think that's what got me into movies, honestly, actually. And I just love it. And then as I got older, I rewatch it all the time, and I just love it more each time. I love it more and more each time I watch it, because it's just so, you know, deep. There's so many layers, okay? I know that maybe people are like, it's a cartoon movie. Like, what could be happening in there that is so interesting? But if you really think about it, I'm gonna talk about it because, like, I'm not gonna try to, like, refrain from spoiling anything. But so anyways, if you haven't watched Inside Out, I'm sorry, I'm about to spoil everything. But Riley moves, and it's literally about her getting depression. Like, and as someone, when I was younger, I got a little bit depressed, and I was like 13. It was around COVID, you know, I feel like everyone was a little depressed. But I watched it and I felt so resonated. Like, I felt so, like, it's just literally about her getting depression. And it's in such, like, a, you know, easy to understand way. I love it. I mean, it's like, it's literally her discovering how to accept sadness and how sadness is important. How you can't always be, you know, you can't have good without bad. You know what I mean? Like, there has to be some bad moments, some sad moments in order for you to look back and be like, oh, that's a happy moment, or to be like, I'm happy right now in this moment. You know what I mean? And I think that's why I like Inside Out so much, is I just love that they show it in such like in a way that is so simple, like, to understand. And it's a kids movie, so, you know, for some kids that can be very touching, I think. And I think that's important, to have something that can resonate with younger people like that and still be very, like, fun. I don't know. Next one, which is also a cartoon movie is Frozen. I love Frozen. And I'm not even going to try to like make artistic claim about why I love Frozen. I just love it. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. I love it. The music's amazing. I sing the soundtrack all the time. I just think it's so original, amazing. I mean, whoever created it, props to you, because I wish I created something like that, because it's so good and amazing, and I think the storyline is so good. I have a sister that I'm very close with, my sister Nabella. If you're watching this, love you. And I just think the movie is so like true to what it can be like to have a sister. And I'm definitely, me and my sister have never had any issue like Anna and Elsa and Anna, but I still think it's a really good movie. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. But next is Whisper of the Heart. I wrote that down. Whisper of the Heart. So good. It's a Studio Ghibli movie. It follows this girl who is in school, and she's trying to like balance her school life, but she's also a daydreamer. That's literally me. I'm literally a daydreamer. She is a daydreamer who is literally obsessed with like writing. She wants to make art, and she's like trying to learn how to balance that and realize that maybe instead of like rushing into things, like rushing into becoming an amazing writer with like a great book, she actually needs to like develop a little bit of a process with that, and she can't just jump into being a great writer. She has to go through the process. And that is something that I personally struggle with a lot, and it's also a love story, by the way, just to add that in, but I personally struggle with that a lot because I am such a daydreamer, and I daydream about random things, and I would love to make a film. I would love to be in a film. I would love to be a model. I would love to do all of that. I would love to be a YouTuber. I would love to travel, things that I think a lot of basic people do want. Not basic people, things that I think a lot of people want, you know what I mean? I think a lot of people want a lot of different things. I just have a problem with constantly thinking about it. I'm constantly thinking about those things, and I have a problem with balancing my school life with wanting those things, and I always want to like jump ahead and be like, okay, I want to do this, I want to do that, like, can I just get there? But then I have to remember, which my mom also tells me, Mama, if you're watching this, love you, is that the process is the best part. The process is where you're trying all these new things and you're discovering what you like and what you don't like. And, it would be so boring to just jump forward and be like, okay, I'm here now. Like, but you have nothing to look back on to credit, like, why you got there, So that's why I like that movie. And then on top of it, it's Studio Ghibli, and it's so heartwarming and beautiful, and I love the music, and it's just great. And then some recent favorites are Sinners. Sinners is great. Michael B. Jordan does a great job. He just won an Oscar. He won an Oscar for it. It's a great movie. It's a great movie about like, kind of, I'm not even going to try to describe it because, yeah, but it's a great movie. Michael B. Jordan does a great job. The music in it, like the blues, are great. And I wrote a paper on it, so I feel like I should be able to talk more about it, but I'm kind of just going to leave it like that because I think a lot of people just should go watch it themselves. It's a new movie and it's great. So, next is Wuthering Heights. I know that people had very controversial opinions on it. It's the newer one with Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi, and a lot of people are upset because Jacob Elordi in Wuthering Heights, Heathcliff is supposed to be brown, And it's a very important part of the storyline, apparently. I've never read the book, so I'm not sure. But a lot of people were upset that they didn't hire a brown actor when, you know, there's already like a lot of roles that are for white people, and they couldn't even give this role to someone that was brown, you know, which I do understand. But I watched the movie and I tried to go in without a bias, and it was just arguably a great movie. I don't know. I thought it was so good. The, you know, cinematography, amazing. The colors, so good. I mean, Margot Robbie looks phenomenal. Jacob Elordi looks phenomenal. It kept me engaged the whole time. I think that sometimes some movies, especially, I watched it in the theaters. Everyone go to the theaters, okay? Like, theaters are a dying thing. And I watched it in the theaters, and I think sometimes movies can kind of lose my attention sometimes, especially ones that maybe are as, I don't know. I just think sometimes in a movie you can pick up your phone and be like, what time is it? You know what I mean? And be like, okay, how much longer? That didn't happen with this movie. I was fully engaged the whole time. I was very into it. I really liked it. I thought that it was just like really good. I don't know, guys. I don't want to be too controversial, so I'm gonna just leave it at that. If you haven't watched it, oh, my earring fell. If you haven't watched it, I say watch it and then form your opinion after that. So yeah, I really liked Wuthering Heights. I know that maybe it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I really liked it. And we're gonna leave it there. I would love to talk longer, but I have been filming for 45 minutes. And honestly, that was the fastest 45 minutes of my life. I fucking love movies. I could talk about them forever. So if this video does good and you guys want to hear more about movies, let me know, because I can talk about it forever. But yeah, that is all. Remember to go follow my letterboxd, and if you want to drop your letterboxd in the comments, I'll probably follow you back. And yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you're a fellow movie lover, make sure you go to the theaters. I know it's expensive, but it's better than renting a movie at home or something. And stop pirating movies, okay? I know it's fun. I know it's easy, but you are like, these people put their money and souls into creating these films, and it is so important to show your support. And you know, the only reason great movies are going to keep on being made is if we show that we're watching them, and the only way to show that we're watching them is by buying tickets. Okay, buying tickets, going to the movie, getting a fucking, like, smuggle in snacks, make your own popcorn at home, okay, but go to the movies. I'm personally trying to get better at it myself. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna leave it at today. This is Gabby checking out. I hope you guys loved this video as much as I loved it. But have a great day. Bye.